Before you go, subscribe, like and comment. Click the bell if you want notifications of new episodes.
Now I'm down to my last 20 rounds and the battery life is limited, so let's just get cracking with the proficiency test. So, as I said, the point isn't the time limit. The point of this test is sorting your gear and delivering reliable performance. This test is about having a sense of economy in your shooting. Your focus needs to be on the target. Whatever you're doing back here needs to be simple and efficient. The purpose of this test isn't the time. By cheating, I can do this a lot faster than 1 minute. So if you look at the time for today's performance, you're seeing there is a distinct difference between having to get into the position versus just being in the position and shooting. So your failure is not going to be in the position, it's going to be trying to get into the position. You can't bring in all sorts of gear and expect to perform and deliver a good shot every time. So as you see, my assumption about the pressure contributed to the shot being high. So that's about 7.5 centimeters off from the center at 515 meters. So it's not a bad shot, but without the assumption, it would have been a lot better. Now, if you want to use a bullet drop compensator with a very high degree of precision, you cannot just assume what weather will be. That will lead to errors. Now, every test up to now I've been low, so by just assuming and adding 1 click, I was today high. The Kestrel is a very useful tool for monitoring the weather, but you don't really need it. You can do it manually. Now we'll do the ballistic bar again. The difference today is that I have estimated the air pressure from 1 week ago. So we'll see what sort of ballistic solution we are about to come up with this time. And I'm building the trigger, on the trigger first, hooking and in with the hand. Okay, that's the GoPro, we don't want to shoot that. That's the bar, now I'm aiming center. So again, finger first, hooking, holding, closing the eyes, checking natural point of aim, opening, and dead on. There you go. No idea where that went. Again. Seems to work okay. That target is 6 centimeters tall, range is 600 meters, and I did the calculation on Monday and today it's Friday. So on Monday the forecast for today was around 995, 996. I know that I am roughly at 100 meters elevation now, which should make the pressure today 12 hectopascal lower. So I should be right around 982, 983, 984 hectopascal pressure. So let's just check to see how close the forecast was to the real deal. Even though it wasn't absolutely correct, it was well within the 30 hectopascal up or down, which is the tolerance for significant weather. A BDC solution can be made to work extremely well. I'll show you how. Go to your favorite weather forecast and switch to graph mode. Remember that these values are all calibrated for sea level. Switch to your favorite map and find the elevation for your location. use the knowledge from episode 343 and calculate the station pressure and add temperature from the forecast. You can now predict the trajectory for your new location. Have a good walk-in.
But what about density or altitude?
If you look at the calibration and the tolerance for significant weather on my turret, you will see that it's set up quite well. If the temperature should move to the lower end, I will see that there are frost or ice on the ground. If it moves towards the higher end, I will be having a river of sweat down my back. So I don't need any tools to determine if my BDC values are above or below the significant values. And it's the same with the pressure. Now 970 hectopascal is roughly 300 meters elevation. That means I have from sea level up to 600 meters above the sea, where I don't really have to worry about it. If I do have a huge change, I will also have severe weather, so I'm not going to be too worried about that. So it's not that I'm against technology, but if you are on a budget, I wouldn't spend somewhere between $500 to $700 on a fancy Kestrel. You have a smartphone and you will get much of what you need from that.
Listen to my voice. We are going away in 3, 2, 1. You are now under the spell of advertisement. When you wake up, this was the best YouTube episode ever seen.
Take the belt, pull it through the loop of your pants, both sides, leave the groin open. And basically these zippers stay open and I don't close them before the rain forces me to do it. The moment I put all of these zippers up and close the groin, the breathability is reduced to the fabric qualities. And you must understand that no membrane is able to compete with an open zipper. I'll give you one chance to guess who's my sponsor now. It helps a lot because that frees up a lot of time from the reloading bench, which means I can be doing more of this camera stuff and these mountains and shooting and hunting and bring more content on basically. I'm not sure how many hours I've been spending at the reloading bench, but it's too much. I simply don't have enough time to do it anymore. Not with the amount of time that goes into these films now.
Listen to my voice. Segment ends in 3, 2, 1, and we're back.
Now, make sure you don't have any tension in your bipod. The bipod feet shouldn't be digging into the ground, and you shouldn't be twisting and trying to force the bipod into position. With a swivel, you can usually just leave it and, you have that loose movement that will accommodate the rifle. That's me on target. Center hold. That target center has a wind call tolerance of 0.5 meters per second plus minus, which today isn't a problem. Place the trigger finger right on the trigger blade where it's supposed to be, out on the pad. And then try to have a 90 degrees and bring the hand flat into the rifle. And you hook with the 2 middle fingers. And after that, it's just a matter of finding a position for the thumb and the little finger. Now I have that good hook with the 2 middle fingers. I can pull the rifle back. And I can also very easily increase the pressure on the trigger without pulling it sideways. On the scope, find the target, check natural point of aim, closing. So that was me over on the right hand side, which means I have to move the whole body and then try again, closing eyes, open. That's me ready to shoot. I'm in the middle. Now, for wind call today, we're not seeing anything. I'm looking at leaves, absolutely no movement. Along the treetops, there's not even movement there. And just to make sure, you can look over your shoulder. And there's no movement here either. So for this shot, it should be approximately spin drift only. You can see a slight mirage. That appears to be going to the left. Ready? Dead on for wind, brows high. And I can tell you right now what it is. The bipod is too low. And that is simply a matter of trying to compensate, pushing too hard on the cheek rest, and your shot is going to go high. Natural point of aim. Closing. Open. I'm off to the left. Adjusting. So you see, I went from a high miss to a center hit simply by changing the bipod and also bringing in elevation to the natural point of aim. Now, please note that even when I'm making a bad shot, I don't go chasing the equipment. So I left all the gear as is, and I always look for the error in myself. So when I'm behind the rifle, I am as square as I can be. I don't want to have a sharp angle either way. Sometimes the terrain will force it. Get the rifle up, and here is my shoulder contact. It's just hard enough to keep the rifle up with the friction of the recoil pad. I'm not applying any forward pressure, I'm not pushing the bipod into the ground. Cheek rest, the height here is fitted to me because I want to be looking straight through the scope, and I just want the cheek rest to arrest my head right there. But the thing is, you don't want to be looking like this and trying to look through the scope. Head should be as rested as can be. I have to lean a little lower to the side. If I'm absolutely straight, I'm looking at the side of the scope. So I need to get the head over. Find the target. Checking natural point of aim. Closing. Open. And I'm dead on. But that's just the breathing. I breathe out. And in that out space is when I squeeze the trigger. Center. And I don't breathe like that. That would be me hyperventilating. Okay. Also center. So you see, very repeatable. That's 15 centimeters at 4-5 meters, and the wind call tolerance is plus minus half a meter per second. Not that we have any wind today. Okay, that's me done with the 6XC. No more ammunition. Like and subscribe. I'm a dad, so I'm obliged to do stupid things to embarrass my kids.
And we'll be back next season, and we will be diving more into wind calls and how to deal with wind. Okay, hope to see you. Bring your friends.
Subscribe to the THLR channel by clicking the left logo icon, so you'll be shooting straighter than a drunk skunk before the sun shines over northern Norway.